This is the Recovery Lab.
Here we dive deep into the struggles, victories, and hope that stem from recovery.
No shame, no judgment, just truth, grace, and inspiration.
Let's walk this road together.
Hey guys, welcome back to Recovery Lab. This is episode 126, and I'm Brynn Knox.
I'm David Sugg.
I'm Daniel Anderson.
And we are the Recovery Lab, and we are here this week with Gregory Greer.
Yes, that's me. Hi, I'm Gregory Greer.
Hey, man.
I guess where did I chime that in?
We've got one of my favorite types of guests in, somebody who might give me free therapy.
If we cry, it's okay.
Yeah.
I love tricking people into coming here.
Yeah, we were talking out in the kitchen earlier about some of the stuff you're into, and I was like, man, we might get some breath work in. I don't know, man. We might do some psychodrama, but you're into a lot of different things. Voices of Recovery is one of your business's names. Are you the director of Red Hill Recovery Center? So you're doing a lot of different work, but it's all recovery-based. It's all therapy-based. You're super passionate about it. I mean, we couldn't shut you up in the kitchen, man. It was like...
I got a problem with that.
Yeah. I mean,
Thank
it was
you.
so much stuff, but I love passionate people, and we can already tell you got a lot of heart and a lot of passion about what you're doing. So I'm super excited to hear about what you're excited about. So tell us a little about yourself.
God, well, and then you just threw me off the bars. Well, I mean, as I brought in earlier, so being the director of clinical services at Red Hill, it is a sister program to Palmetto Addiction Recovery Center.
Okay.
And I worked there for 7 years, and if you're familiar with Onsite and kind of work they did there, or do there, that I, got to have creative licensure to create the program offshoot of Palmetto. So all the different clinical modalities that I've been doing and creating, I get to implement them there. And it's only 12 beds. It's a little bougie. Executives,
I know.
doctors,
I was trying to get you in, get me in this
weekend.
weekend. I don't know, dude.
Well, we got an extra cot out back, and being able to implement some of the modalities that I have been doing, what a dream job. So my passion about it is something I'm creating, given licensure to. The Voices of Recovery, which is my private practice, allows me to do the other supplemental work, which is it's clinical, but it's also spiritual. So I became an ordained minister with the International Ministry of Metaphysics last year, and I'm currently working on a PhD in Quantum Metaphysics with a focus on relationships.
What is that? What is any of that? What does that mean?
Which part?
I'm right there with you.
Anything with what is metaphysics?
So metaphysics, we'll use the word spiritual. So we can go with the word consciousness. Mm-hmm. Consciousness. So, what I like about recovery is step 11. They talk about thought through prayer meditation, a conscious contact with God. Mm-hmm. So metaphysics is what am I conscious about? Because the rest of us is subconscious. And so what I'm trying to bring in is bring the subconscious up to my awareness, because I'm not. Over 90% of what we do is subconscious. Mm-hmm. Everything. When you walk today, you weren't thinking about your next step. Your body just did it. That's all subconscious. Same goes with interactions and relationships and communication. So the conscious is my awareness in the here and the now, to be present. And the more present I am, the more I'm able to connect with you. More importantly, how conscious am I about myself? Quantum metaphysics, quantum takes the word, quantum is the smallest measurement. And so I guess I'd use Bruce Lipton as a reference. His study with physics, or biology rather, is think about the molecule of your body. The smallest molecule is connected to you. So everything is connected with yourself. We don't think about it, but it's all there. Mm. So the smallest measurement is you. So as a conscious contact with God, any and everything that we are, as small as we are, we're still a part of everything. And so if I were to bring out the word God, I am God, not I am God. I'm just saying I am part of. And as are you, and as are you. And we are all together one and a part of the studio, the air that's in it, everything. So conscious, and what am I aware of? Was that too much?
I really thought it had something to do with chemistry.
Well, Max
That's how
Planck,
much I didn't know.
Max Planck is the founder of quantum physics. Uh-huh. And if you look at all of these brainchilds back in the early 1900s with Albert Einstein, that they all speak philosophically. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is they put it in oh my God, they have a math. What do you call that thing formula. They have a formula.
Oh, yeah.
They're putting us in a formula. Our relationship is a formula. So let's take Albert Einstein, for example. They asked him to dumb it down, this theory of relativity, and relativity. So objects, control the other. He said, okay, that's a theory. But if you put it down in human form, one object affects another object. You cannot change another object. However, you can work on yourself first, and that would influence the other object. Now, if you look at that as a spiritual model, take Gandhi, for example. What did he say? Be the change that you want to see. So all these theories and a mathematical formula, and we put it in conscious forms, it's all connected. So I'm not a math person. 2 + 2, it's supposed to be 4, but heck if I know. I'm just saying that I just want to be able to connect. But quantum metaphysics is spiritual and how we all connect.
Okay, that makes sense.
If I can put it in that form.
Yeah.
But there's so much. As a student of metaphysics, you're a student of meditation. And as meditation, we're wanting to be still so that we can go within ourselves. And that's where the magic really is. We're also codependent. We're seeking validation from everybody else, support, that I can't make a decision without you telling me okay or not because I may be too insecure. And where did that come from? Our family of origin. And so I was telling David earlier, my passion is Souldrama. And Souldrama is a group modality. It's an action group modality, like recovery. Recovery is a program of action. And so rather than group where you're sitting around and we talk, we're going to get up and move around. Don't tell me, show me. And it was birthed out of something called psychodrama. So if you're familiar with psychodrama, we use psychodrama to facilitate the narrative of Souldrama. And Souldrama is about identifying the codependence that we developed in our family of origin. Basically, how I sought approval from my same-sex parent. Usually, more times than not, it's the same-sex parent. I'm sure, I've had some examples out there but 9 times out of 10, it's pretty much it. And so as an example of an adult child of an alcoholic, if I, sought love from my parent, let's say my dad, and if he was an alcoholic and if he needed me to take care of him, throwing up, getting on the couch like that, I learned if I take care of you, you'll love me. And so it becomes indirect. And so therefore that becomes my love language. And then I try to take care of everybody except me because that's what I learned. Mm-hmm. So Souldrama, using metaphysics, is about identifying your soul journey. And the ego is what blocks you from the sunlight of the spirit. And the ego is the codependence that we sought finding approval from mom or dad. And so then that just goes on and on. I was telling you out there earlier, all these people that we find ourselves dating people, and you will find, we're serial monogamous. And it's like, they're all the same. They're just different face, but the same personalities. How come I keep dating the same person? Well, come visit me. Yeah. Let's talk about mom or dad. Yeah. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to identify, or I'm going to help you identify how you sought approval. And it's subconscious. It's subconscious. So if I go back to metaphysics, it's like I'm doing something that's just I was trained, it was before the age of 8. So I just got to rambling there.
Before the age of 8?
Yeah, before the age of 8, we're already pretty hardwired as to what we are personality-wise. So, but the development of relationships based on our insecurity and subconscious is already there.
God.
And so we'll start repeating those patterns from there out.
The age of 8. I have 5 years with Briggs to form his entire personality. No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years left, and then it's on. Now, here's the big ticket. We're talking about Erik Erikson's psychosocial stages of human development, but our trauma begins first at 5. So if I bring up Souldrama, it's all about what was the first negative experience I had with seeking attention, approval from mom or dad. That memory, that emotional experience lingers with me. Kind of like we're all musical instruments, like a human guitar. A chord is strummed. And then as we go through life, somebody plucks that chord. And it's like, I know that tune. I'm just trying to put my finger on it. And so that'll carry on. But the second trauma is around 8 for girls and 10 for boys. So should something happen at that age that's significant, and I always talk to my clients about that, be mindful. No matter what a parent says or do later in life to try to redirect what happened, the experience that we had at that age, it sticks with us. So I guess I'll just go ahead and disclose for me now. At the age of 8, I was molested. That experience haunted me forever. I still work on it, but aside from the experience that went down, I'm a boy. So by the age of 10, I'm an Air Force brat. We didn't move to the South until I was 10 years old. I'd never seen North Louisiana, nor heard of it. And lo and behold, I'm dropped in it and said, welcome to the South. That was some traumatic stuff for me. I moved to all these different Air Force bases, been to Houston, Alamogordo, New Mexico, El Segundo, California, and I get dropped in here and they're like, hey, man, you talk funny. And I was like, I talk funny. and so that experience for me was horrific because you're getting pulled up from all these. You never get to form relationships with anybody. And then poof, my father was a farmer from Oak Grove, Louisiana. And he's like, I want to be near my family. And I was like, well, great. I never met him before, but it's like, so I got cousins. Oh, cool. And they were like, hey, man, you talk funny. So I was like, we're going to shell peas and we're going to shuck some corn and we're going to make a man out of you. And I was like, oh, okay. And so that, though, it was different because it was different than the lifestyles that I had at either Air Force Base or different schools. But the trauma, 8 or 10, whatever that was, again, it sticks with you because your parents would go, hey, I want you to talk to me. Now, you got a 3-year-old, you said. So it's like, I want you to tell me. I want you to talk to me about these feelings. The problem is at 8 or 10, what 8 or 10-year-old knows how to express their feelings? We can try our very best. It's not that we're not good enough. It's just they're going to be able to hold on to it like we all do. And they're not going to be able to truly understand it and process it until older.
Okay. Stay there. So Did you have anything happen? You don't have to go into details, but in your life around 5 or 8?
I mean, nothing dead on the money, but I mean, divorce when I was 4 and 5, and it was horrible on me. I mean, I was super angry, super pissed off, scared. We would get hidden at different houses when my dad was on a rampage looking for us. Sometimes he'd pick us up and we'd go away for a week and I didn't know this at the time, but no one would know where we were. We'd come back and it'd be a big, this went on for years. So like dead on the money, 10, no, but from 5 to 12 and a half, it was fucking a wreck.
Yeah.
Fucking wreck. Yeah.
So he's not able to like process or verbalize those feelings. So like, what does he do with that later on as an adult?
Let me ask you a question. Do you, at that time, whose fault did you think the separation was?
The churches.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. Most children feel it's their fault because you were asking about modalities, Erik Erikson, Piaget, everything at the age of 4 and 5 is about us. It's all about us. And so therefore, consequently, I think it's my fault.
No, I believe my dad when he was saying I adored him, and it's them. Now I know otherwise.
Well, I know that, but I'm just reflecting
time,
at that time. And so therefore, I look at others, I look outside myself. Wow, when did you ever become a part of you? That's an open-ended question, but it's kind of like, when did I, because if it's the church's fault, when do I stand up for myself?
I guess it wasn't until mid-20s.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Which part?
When you're asking him, like, when did you become you? When did you stand up for yourself?
Well, if I were to get really interesting, it'd be like, when did I find my identity of who I am? Because at that time, it's the church's fault. It's the church's fault. Well, my father is my identity. Remember, I'm trying to seek approval. Mm-hmm. And so how do I seek approval from my dad? Okay, I believe everything my dad says. So I'm going to become codependent, and I'm going to let you tell me what I need to know because I don't take it on. You're the power force behind this. So when do I start to have an identity and self for me instead of I need you to tell me what I need to know because I don't know? Did that register?
Absolutely. No, he died. I went to prison, and that's when the paradigm shifted. Everything shifted.
Can you say more?
I mean, up until that point, I was just trying to fit in, figure things out, and I kind of held him as a lighthouse. Everything was in relation to what he thought, and I knew it. I knew when I was off course. I knew where I was on. My life was a wreck when I was off course, and it was, I guess, a little better when I felt like I was. But whenever we were separated and then he finally died, I went into the penitentiary immediately after that, and that was probably when I was 24 years old, and spent about 5 years in and out. Went twice to penitentiary, but I mean that was a whole new. Everything I thought I knew about life was just shat on, completely thrown out, and a whole new set of rules kind of settled on me. They weren't good rules, but they were, and so that everything outlook about life changed. In that
Well, what
period.
did you think about life prior to that?
That there was somebody always going to take care of me, and my life would be. If it should be up to them, and if they would do right, then everything would be okay. And so my job was to try to fit in their grace.
So if I grew up, I wanted you to take care of me, and so I that's how I saw it. That's my love language, because my father I saw it so much and looked up to so much. I wanted that so badly. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the only reason being that, so I've heard of psychodrama. I would try to double you from way over here. Doubling is when you stand beside somebody, put your hand on the shoulder, and say I. So I join you. So and that's what I wanted to do was sort of double you. I need you for me to feel whole. I need you, and so I didn't get that from my dad. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And so and I use the word deficit, and I don't like that because that's like a clinical term, but it's like that hole, that void, that painful, miserable place that I don't feel good enough. I don't feel a part of. I don't have a voice. I don't matter. For some, I'm not saying for you, but it's like for some, because I need that so desperately. It's interesting you say that because I'm an Air Force brat, and my father was never home. He was always, at the Air Force. And he was a very accomplished man. He developed actually when we were in the Air Force, he was the head engineer developing the airbag that's in the car today, which I really didn't know until later in life. It's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And he worked at Area 51, so I believe in aliens. So wherever y'all at, whatever. So alien, and then he was a doctor on the ground for the 9th mission of the moon. So I sought his approval, his love so badly. But eventually I just became a reckless. I just seek it anywhere.
Yeah.
I go anywhere. I mean, I'm running out to anybody, just a fast food restaurant. Hi, I'm Greg Greer. And, it's like, you don't want your kids doing that. A 1 and 3-year-old talking to perfectly strangers. And so your dad and you seeking, did y'all do stuff together?
Painfully.
Mm-hmm. Can you
What
share?
do you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he was a rageaholic. He was a womanizer. He never drank. And I think he probably would have been alcoholic if he could have drank, but he had some health issues that wouldn't allow him. But he was a mess. He was a mess. But we would go do things. I remember I was talking to somebody about fishing the other day, and I was like, "Do you like to fish?" She's like, "Yeah." "Do you like to fish?" I said, I do with my wife now. It's one of the things we enjoy doing together. But I didn't growing up because my dad took me fishing, and I just did it all wrong. I got caught up in the limbs, and he was cussing and yelling, and you're too loud, you motherfucker. Just like really, just raging on me. And so I just sit there in the fucking boat.
And how do you feel during that time?
Then
When he's raging on you, where are you?
I want to drown. Yeah.
How come?
Because, it felt like just like my Labrador, whenever I'm pissed off about something, it's just like peeing in the corner. Just terrified, man. Like there's this thing that I don't know if adore and like what, it's almost godlike, just like, oh shit, this wrath. And this thing, I never want that wrath turned on me,
So, because what I'm feeling is anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay. No. So my father being an Air Force brat, well, I'm the Air Force brat, he's Air Force, but it's big 6-foot dude, and I'm 5, yanked me out of the bed in the middle of the night and started screaming, why'd you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. Because
I'll say anything you want me to say.
Right.
Just
But the thing is, so my voice doesn't matter. Or I don't matter. I don't have a voice. It doesn't matter what I say. And therefore, consequently, though, I'm going to be walking on eggshells however I speak. So the ability to communicate is stunted. So how to talk to others because of that relationship. I'm wondering, that's my experience because of what you shared with the being terrified with Dad and his rageaholic. Did you experience that too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So wanting to be able to communicate with somebody and finding ourselves, I want to make sure I say the right thing, you know, and then blah, 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 right?
Yeah, and this went on for years. I mean, that's what our relationship was. And there were times though where he could win you over. I mean, he could be charming. He could be real fun. I mean, I don't know if he was bipolar or not, but he might have been. But he could be all. And then sometimes you just love to be around and talk and listen and just hang out. He was a great storyteller. So it could be just the exact opposite at times. So it was.
It's crazy he was like that and not even like drinking.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know. In hindsight, it's just like, what the fuck was going on there?
Yeah. You must have been really bad at fishing.
Now I know he had shitty gear. I mean,
Brynn, you're funny. I did not see that coming. I've not listened to you, but now I know what to pick up on. Okay.
Yeah.
God, well, let's just throw fish line and hooker. Fished in. Well, me, like I said, I'm a total nerd. My humor is different. I wasn't ready because all I could think of is, and this is where my codependent want to help somebody routine comes in, and it's like, and I know you've done a lot of work on yourself. It's obvious, or at least that's what I feel. And so the compassionate witness. When did I realize what Dad's history was, so that I no longer took it personally? What was his history?
His dad was a rageaholic. We left him on front porches of houses. Yeah, after we came home from boarding school for Christmas, and his dad wouldn't be there because he'd be roaming around the country doing something else.
Wow.
I mean, his alcoholic brother lived with us for a year when we were in Houston and committed suicide in my parents' house. And my dad and mom found him when we came home from church. So he was always cleaning up the mess of his alcoholic brother.
Yeah.
So I mean, looking back, he was doing the best. I mean, he had a shitty hand too. You know, he had a shitty hand. So knowing that and seeing that, it was easier for me to just accept it and forgive it and kind of realize, all right, this is probably doing the best he could with what he had. And he pursued women like I did the drink and drug. I think I got some siblings I hadn't met. I think I got, that kind of womanizer. So he was trying to fill that thing that I've been trying to fill in drinking and drugs. Was it right or wrong? It happened. It is what it is. So.
Well, we're products of our parents. Our parents are products of their parents. And I relate with you with my own dad being the son of a farmer, and he was 6 foot. He was John Wayne. I mean, the dude walked around the farm with a pistol on his hip, and he drank a fifth, doing what he's saying. He's one of those cats in the 50s that I heard stories. He would, up to the car, he would pull you out of the driver's window just with his bare hands, pull you out through the window, and then with his bare hands beat you. And I'm like, and when I was younger, I thought that was, I looked at, oh, that's awesome. That's my Paul, like Walton's. We called him Paul. But as we got older, I was like, man, that's not cool. As I went in through the work, it's like, man, you were a bully. What a mean guy. Yeah. And then he got sober, became a deacon in the church and all that jazz. But he regressed, though. But my father grew up underneath that. He was terrified of it. And he said, I got to get the F out of here because this is no way to make a living. 300-acre farm and watching chickens run underneath your floorboards in your bedroom. It's like, I ain't. And he became an over-accomplished man. That dude was still, until the day he died last year, still working on his second book, doing additional research. And, he was on fire. His brain was still just immaculate.
Wow.
So the patterns were all products. And then do we break the patterns? Do we break the patterns? It sounds like you're breaking possibly yours.
Yeah.
The family gene.
Hope so.
What about you, Brynn? We've been talking about us, man. Where are you?
No,
Let's clean out Brynn's closet, man. What you got there?
So, man, we've gone from what Greg does to, hey, let's connect, and now
No, it's been kind of fun. I usually talk the whole time, so it's been kind of fun to like sit back for once and hear about David and like your story, and I don't know. This has been incredibly interesting for me to be able to listen a little more.
How come?
Because I genuinely love hearing about other people's stories and like you were talking about, like connecting. And I tend to railroad every conversation that I'm in. I just like take over and I'm like obsessed with myself. I can't stop talking about me, you know? And so sometimes it's like nice to not talk about me for a minute, but I'm talking about me right now, but you're making me.
I'm making you? I just
Yeah.
asked, how am I making you? Wait a minute, hold on a second. So now it's like if I'm always talking about me, and we're talking about I couldn't feel heard from Dad. So if I'm always talking about me, that's somebody that I never felt heard. I never felt understood. So I feel the necessity to continue talking so that I could feel heard and maybe hopefully be understood. If I talk enough, maybe you'll understand.
Gregory. Okay. I see what you're doing.
Oh, yeah? Fished in. I'm just...
Okay, I didn't feel heard by my dad.
So stop it. And
so I looked to men and to boys to be heard because they were great listeners.
they're great listeners because...
I'm sorry, did you say something?
They're great listeners because, and then after we, have a physical relationship where they continue to listen.
No.
Thank you. So my point though is how the relationship dynamic is, and we continue that same pattern. It's like, gosh, when do I end it? How do I end it? And have you learned how do you learn to end your pattern? And I don't want to say end because it's an ongoing evolution. It's a cycle that the wounds continue to come back to see. So have you really learned your lesson? and then two, though, I use the word ascend, to evolve, because as we continue to heal, it's an ongoing process. Now that's the metaphysics part. There is no I'm healed, and people, I just want to deal with this and it'd be gone. It never goes away. It never goes. Whatever the trauma is that we have, this is how I speak with my clients and my friends too. It's like the trauma. Okay, you have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. When you hold them, how do you hold them?
What do you mean?
Well, if I'm angry though, I'm still going to love them. I'm not going to shake them and go,
Right.
I love my infant. I love my child, right? So I have a trauma. I want us to hold the trauma like a child. I wouldn't yell at it. I want to be the compassionate witness. I want to be able to hold the trauma that I have, because the trauma, if I don't, the trauma holds me. The trauma consumes me. I want to be able to hold the trauma so I can love it and be a part of that. And that goes into a Carl Jung's, shadow work, so that I can then be the compassionate witness to love that, which is going to be me. And I need to be able to do that because no one else is. It can start off as an emulating role that somebody I can emulate how they did that, but ultimately it's going to be me having the emotional experience of connecting with myself so that I can love me, and then I'll be okay. And then look, I'm a gum flapper. I mean, I'll talk. I'll be that donkey on Shrek. I could talk. That's the talkingest donkey ever. So I'll and to do that for attention and to feel heard and understood, because I never was. But then once I'm able to hold me, then I can let you. That's what Mel Robbins, let them. And so I can finally let you, and I don't have to interrupt anymore. That's me though. Go I did that. And now it's just like, that's cool. I can let you be you and other. So your experience, how did you start to, I said not end it, but recognize it, so then start to change the trajectory?
I mean, it wasn't until I was in recovery and working the 12 steps where I realized those patterns that I had, especially with like the men that I chose and the way I used men and what I needed them for. And I think that the changes really took place when I started recognizing that, like, I have a heavenly Father who cares about me so much. And I don't need, it'll make me emotional, but like, I don't need men and like any man in my life or like anyone in my life, because I do have this Father in heaven who looks at me like I always wanted my dad to look at me, You know what I mean? And so that's where like the healing took place for me.
How long ago?
I mean, just within the past 6 years. And so I was 35 when I got sober. And so it's been like a long life of looking for love in like all the wrong places, you know, and just never getting that filled. And like David said, like I chased drugs and alcohol because all that inside was just so painful.
That's right. 5 years?
6 years.
About 6 years ago?
Mhm.
And yourself? David?
Sober?
Identifying, recognizing the pattern to change the perceived, I'm going to go perceived, trajectory.
It was about 20 years. It was a little before I got sober, but that's what got me sober, got me moving that direction.
Oh, that's amazing. So I guess I'll open up that. So I've been to treatment 3 times. The first time was for 157 days. I counted every effing one. I shit you not. And I was like, really? It's a 90-day program. Why am I still here?
They liked you.
Yeah. So after the 3rd time, suicide attempt and all that jazz, you know, so I'm 15 years sober now today. It's February 4th, 2010 is my sobriety date.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. It was 2 years ago that I went through what I call my dark night of the soul, and I consider myself, my area of expertise is codependence with Souldrama. And I've been studying, working, and facilitating workshops for several years after that, and still not fully recognizing. Yeah, before that.
Before your sobriety, yes. Okay.
Negative.
No.
Before what I call my dark night of the soul. So 2 years ago, 2023, I went through a really dark space.
Gotcha.
So I separated and sought divorce from my wife and her kids, and I learned that my perceived identity was not mine. But how come I went into the marriage? What I was seeking, you know, talking about chasing somebody. I mean, her kids, I loved her kids. My first marriage, we didn't have kids. It was a miscarriage. And all the hopes and joys of what that was going to entail. And so I chased this. And so I got into something that I thought I was stable with, but I was amazingly in denial. I don't like that word denial, by the way. We use that in treatment centers so much. I like the word awareness, because consciousness and being aware of myself instead of saying, you're in denial, and you need to be confronted. And I'm like, no, I don't. I need to be challenged. You want to confront me? I'm a very volatile soul. F you. You want to throw down? Let's rock. I'm not going to fight. I'll just leave or go F yourself. You know, nothing's going to come from it. However, I can be more receptive. If we can connect and explore. So we can connect and explore, then I'm more receptive to really, really check some stuff out instead of you poking the bear. So 2 years ago, when I separated and looked towards my, you know, what is my identity, I realized I was lost again. The beautiful thing is I didn't want to drink. Now, way back in the day, that would be my first go-to. And for the first time, I'm going through what I call grief, severe grief emotionally, and to start exploring it. And as a counselor, so I have a master's degree, certified group psychotherapist with American Group Psychotherapy Association, licensed addiction counselor, social worker. I'm getting all these certifications, everything, and yet I didn't know what to do. And so that's when I went out to Sedona and on a whim and started exploring new modalities besides the same old talk therapy that I've heard, because it wasn't working for me. And that's when I needed to go within. And so I talk about spirituality and finding God. God's in here. And I think I sought God in you or God here. I mean, I tried every church. I mean, one time, I'm going, name the Bible, name the church, name the place. How do y'all pray here? Do I get on my hands and my knees, to put my hands and sprawl it out on the floor? I mean, anything and everything I could to try to find whatever there was. But I tried too hard. Just like anything else. You try too hard and you can't really, you miss it because you look too hard. So 2 years ago, I began to explore spirituality within and using those modalities, and I found me. I found me and now who I want to be. And the thing is, it was who I wanted to be from the beginning, but because of I call it codependence, I would choose different paths. I might seek it in work. I may find a place that I'm working to fulfill a perceived need until I'm completely, consciously accepting of the person that I am and who I want to be, so that I can then move forward in my life and just appreciate what is and be okay with it.
2 years ago, when you got to that dark place, was it just like a slow drift from where you were before? And so all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, who am I and where am I? Like, did you notice that drift? Or was it just so slow and gradual that all of a sudden you found yourself in such a dark place?
It was slow and gradual.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did recognize it, I'm like, I am not in the place that I want to be. And the thing was, I didn't know how to get out of it. I'm in a marriage, and I don't want to go into too deep about it, but because I'm not gonna. Her and the kids. She has her position, and I have mine, and her kids I adore, but we have no relationship today, and it's been over 2 years, no contact. You can imagine abandonment issues. I'm the only person that, for one, I was in their life, the boy's life, for about 10 years. His father's not around pretty much at all. So knowing that, I mean, that was an effect with me, but I knew that I could not stay in a place that was not me. And that's a painful place to be. How do you do that? How do you rectify that? How do you mend that? I don't have the financial means. So I can't just say, here, let me buy you this house and do this. But I can't stay in this for my own emotional well-being. And so I had to make a very hard decision, and I stuck to it. Now, you want to talk about spirituality? What are the odds? Where am I going to go? My folks let me go to their house. I moved back in with my parents. I'm living with my dad again and my mom. And my dad died last year. And so I got to live with my dad the last year of his life. And we never really connected like we wanted to. But I'm telling you, a month before he passed away, we communicated about ideals, dreams, and connecting without academic research. He's a researcher. Mm-hmm. He was a neurosurgeon, by the way. So besides all the other accolades I mentioned earlier, but as a neurosurgeon and all this other, talking about intuition and phenomenon, that's not, if you don't have anything to back it up with science, he's not, but we connected with it. And it just oddly that he passed away so quickly in that moment. So I got to engage in a relationship with him that I haven't. And then the really bizarre stuff is then I got to develop a relationship with my mom, which I didn't have a real relationship with. I mean, I wanted one with Dad, but my mom, and if y'all have ever been down in New Orleans, that's where my mother's side of the family's from. And I'll talk about them. You're going to argue on the best way to take a left-hand turn.
Well, yeah, you got to go around like the long way, eh?
Yeah, thanks. You sound like my cousin. It's like, so I mean, they'll argue. They will argue and debate about anything, and it's like, oh my gosh, shut up. And so, and I want to leave, and they just talk and they 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 talk, and I got to go, and they're just still talking.
Yeah.
You know, and so now I get to engage with this relationship with my mom, and I couldn't have created this trajectory if I made it up at all. It's part of my soul's journey, and I believe that that's what this is. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting to build everything that I want to, that I feel aligned with, and it feels right. So 2 years ago, it was a slow process, but to make the decision to take care of myself, that was the most difficult thing. Because I think relationships I've had in the past, it's kind of funny. I would do a lot of things for certain relationships I would be in, be a doormat or whatever. And then other relationships, I'm like, peace out, I'm gone.
Yeah.
So it depends. If I really like them, oh no, I need to stay. If I don't like them, I'm out.
Yeah.
So it's really weird how you just sort of flip the script on that. But learning about who you are helps you to actually connect more genuinely versus just what I want. Does that resonate? Make sense?
Yeah.
So it was a slow process, but I was able to make the decision, and holy crap, that was hard. I mean, really, holy crap, that was hard. But I was going to do it, and it did.
What would have happened to you if you didn't?
Good question.
It's difficult to say what, because I mean, I was miserable. I mean, I was overweight. I mean, I was living a certain life. I mean, I overworked just to work, even though I say I liked it.
But you've seen this story play out, and you're living your own version of it. You're in the field. Like, you see people confined by a story they don't want to be in and don't know what to do. So just based on your experience of what you've seen and what you're feeling, what do you think would have happened
if I stayed in it?
Yeah.
Are you fishing for a relapse?
I'm not fishing for anything. I want.
We talked about fishing here earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends that are post. You know, they're in recovery. They when they want to be sober, but they find themselves in a situation that's not where they want to be in life.
Okay, so I'm glad. All right, so I'm glad you brought that up, because when I told my story at a AA meeting the other night, I'm not a traditional big book thumping. I'm going to tell you my experience, strength, and hope. I told the drunkalogue, but the rest of it, I want to share with you what I did in my life. So I talked about codependent relationships, which is more Al-Anon oriented. And it's like, well, so I have lived in unhealthy relationships before, and having stayed in it, what am I going to do about it? You know, and I had to seek and ask friends for help, as I've helped other friends leave their marriages and other relationships. And then what was I doing? So I really asked for help. Those in recovery, those other counselor friends, and I mean, we talked about it for months until I could, I'm going to say, have the backbone, man, to follow through. I said, I can't be in this. To say where we'd go after that, I mean, how miserable can it be? I've already tried suicide in my life. I mean, that I'm a blackout drinker when I used to. I'm a power drinker. And the faster I can black out and do that thing, the better. And so
I bet I could black out quicker than you.
I believe you. I believe you. Well, I mean, to take it to the dark point, yeah, I think that's where I'd go. Because then I'm gonna say, fuck it, fuck all y'all. If I have to be in this miserable place, because if you look at people who do complete a suicide, it's because the thought of death is far more pleasurable than the thought of life. And once you're in that place, and this is a colleague of mine, Dr. Thomas Estes, and friend Tommy, it's like, hey, once you're in that space, there's no turning back, because that looks to, there's your hope. My only hope is that staying in this, and this, X, Y, and Z, that gives no hope. Why would I even go for there? So I go for here. So yeah, if we want to get dark, that's probably where I would have gone.
I mean, I see it over and over again. It's just since suicide came up, October 1st, 11 years ago, Rachel's husband committed suicide. And Rachel was I knew her, she was around in my orbit, but we weren't anything. There was nothing going on. And I saw her go through that, and it was so painful. And it came up today. She talked about it because we had another friend in the program, Birdie, who last night sent out some suicide texts, and she did it. She took her own life, and it was sending these waves and ripples. Yeah, just very, very painful. So suicide right now, and I've had a lot of friends commit suicide. I've found bodies of my uncle. I mean, just all friends, just all kinds of stuff. So suicide, and tried it myself. It's a painful, it's a very real thing. It's not something that you just hear about, like, oh yeah, somebody heard about something. I'm very well acquainted with it. It's really painful. But I say all that to say, I'm afraid that people get caught in these situations that are just unbearable. And it may be addiction. It may be an abusive relationship. It may just be they never got their freaking book published. I don't know, but there's this thing that just weighs on them, and they're not getting the self-actualization, or they're not getting to the spot where I think you talked about the identity, reaffirming your identity. It's not what you really wanted to be. And they think that this situation might self-solve. They think the situation might run its course, and it just never does. And then comes a day when they've got no freaking option. The drink's not even an option. No, I'm not looking for relapse. In fact, I'd prefer someone go drink instead of put a bullet in their mouth, or instead of take a lethal dose. I'd prefer somebody to go do that. Like, relapse is not even the worst thing that can happen. What can happen is that permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I feel that there's a lot of people in recovery, in churches, in church pews all over the place that have different issues, but suffer from these situations that they can't get out of and they don't know what to do. And so that's why I kind of asked, what would have happened? What do you think? Because now the follow-up question to that is, what do you tell somebody who might be in that situation, who's like, this shit's building, man. The walls are closing. I don't know what to do. All I know to do is go to a fucking meeting and talk to my sponsor, and that's not working. Or all I know to do is go to another church service. It's not working because that's kind of the thing I want to get away from. What do you do when those walls are closing in?
Well, two things I want to say, because I was thinking when you brought it up. One, the sensitivity of suicide. And the reason I'm addressing it is because to your audience, people hear this and it sets the wheels rolling, especially for those that are suffering. And I just want to address this, the seriousness of it, and to recognize it. And for those that are suffering, I encourage to reach out for help. I just want to say that, because when I spoke at the meeting last week, that even in recovery programs, when I shared, suicidal ideation and then the attempts, because that was, in 2009 was the first time I had my plan. And it was a relief. I said, oh my God, because I had it all said, come 6 o'clock tonight, dude, it's all going to be over. Fucking A. And I remember telling my dad this when I was in treatment, and he goes, oh my God, son, that's sick. Okay, here we go. Shame-based already. Well, fuck, I'll just go finish it. Really? Okay. And then, because he couldn't understand that. And so then I get into the programs Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm like, yeah, I was suicidal. Now, not everyone's going to understand that. And it's like, well, I never want to kill myself. I just drank myself. That'd be fine. I'm like, well, right. So it's kind of like the person that doesn't, people don't understand alcoholics. Why can't you just stop? Just stop. Why don't you just stop drinking? And then I got people in my own program group, what you want to kill yourself for? That just doesn't make any sense. Hey, man, flip the script, dude. Can you remember when your families and friends say, how come you can't stop drinking? It's like that. So being mindful for just a second, just what spiraling place that is. To me, that is living hell on earth. That is the loneliest place on earth. So, one, to bring it up. Two, the differences that yet can still be placed by perceptions, labeling, not supportive with it. Because I had a sponsor tell me, because I was talking about it, and he goes, well, Greg, live in A for everybody. I was like, damn, man. Wow. And but here's the ticket. In treatment, they're like, hey, man, if you keep doing this, you're going to die. I'm like, I was ready. Don't threaten me with a good time. Let's roll. Yeah. Don't give me that nonsense. And then people try to, do you want to die? And I was like, yeah, I was pretty much looking for it. But my sponsor, that when he said it, and he goes, well, living's not for everybody. Believe it or not, that actually let me think. At first I was like, God, man, that's terrible. And I was like, well, that's true. And without a threatening way, I didn't take it that way. It allowed me to consider who knows what, but it allowed me to think about it differently. So, not that it's appropriate. Please don't say that to anybody. It just was different for me. But to say how much I care about another person, can we at least talk about this for a little bit? And I encourage somebody to be able to be open, or I'll listen. And if not, I know somebody who will. Because, again, it's kind of like an alcoholic knows how to talk to an alcoholic. Somebody who knows to take their own life knows how to talk to somebody who's wanting to take their own life. Would that answer your question?
Yeah.
It's okay. You can say no, Greg. That was
your answer.
That's your answer.
Good. Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, what I heard and all that is just reach out. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else?
Just reach out. No, I think just reach out is fine. I like to use a little more dramatic.
I know you do.
I just let me bring my Oscar over here and go, just reach out here,
I feel like that's the thing, though. Like, that's what we tell everybody. That's the message that we say. I saw a couple posts this morning about what happened last night and, the importance of reaching out. And, like, I feel like people say that all the time. So why aren't we? You know?
Why aren't we when we're the ones suffering, or why aren't we? Who's we?
Why aren't we reaching out to the ones suffering?
Okay.
And why aren't the ones suffering reaching out?
What are your thoughts?
I think when you get in that place, part of you doesn't want someone to talk you out of it.
And that goes back to what I mentioned earlier, because
No turning back.
this place, this direction just looks so much more than all that. I don't want to hear all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the person, what's the barrier to reaching out to somebody that may need help? What's the barrier for that person?
For me, it's like I don't want to be intrusive. I don't want to feel silly for making a bigger deal out of something if it's not a big deal. I don't know.
I think it depends on each.
I've been through it a number of times, and where we've seen somebody who's kind of been on the edge, and we all kind of knew it was going to happen, to be honest with you. I mean, like, there was reaching out. I mean, like, my friend Jeff Davis, I mean, it was about a year and three months ago. I was working with him. We were talking. I knew it was on his mind. He had mentioned it. I said, we've got to talk to somebody. We got to do, and we're doing the things that we can do, but it wasn't enough. And when it happened, I kind of felt like everybody knew it was going to happen. You know, I mean, and Birdie had been going through some serious drama for a long time, and she'd asked for help. She was sending texts and stuff out. So it's like, sometimes it's just like this, like, tragedy of awareness. Like, we just see life happening like it's some movie. We can't pause. And like, we knew this shit was going to happen. We knew the person was suffering. And I think that's what disturbs me. That's what, like, what are we supposed to do with this? Because it's not as easy as, like, reach out, talk to somebody, because they have been. We knew, like, there's never been anybody in my circle that committed suicide that was a fucking shock, ever. It was always sad. I was always shocked that their life actually ended. But in looking back on it, it was never like, man, I thought they had it all fucking together.
Yeah, to that, my cousin, and it was 2019. I remember, we're talking about New Orleans. So I'm going to Greece to do some Souldrama work, and I'm all excited going there. And my cousin calls me up, Leonard. He's like, hey, Gregory. I'm like, hey, what's up? He goes, man, you hear about Steve? And I was like, was he drunk again? And follow out what happened. He goes, no, dude, he killed himself. I was like, what? And he goes, no, dude, he drove to the Crescent City Bridge and he jumped. Now, here's what happened. I mean, this was like his third treatment program, or I'm not sure which. And my uncle and aunt said, you can't stay here anymore. They bought this dude condos, cars, all this jazz. And he was in his late 50s. And he got mad because they told him he couldn't live there. And he goes, well, screw you guys. And then it wasn't that he thought about it. I mean, he told his ex-wife, I'm killing myself. Drove to the top of the Crescent City Bridge, and it's on the DOTD cameras. A witness, too. Left the car running and the door open. And there's no pause. He just ran and jumped. And it was 3 days later before they found his body on the shore of Chalmette. His 21-year-old son and his other 22-year-old son had to identify him after 3 days. Now, my mom, who's a nurse, he might have swam over to the side. I'm like, Mom, stop. His mother from Brooklyn, New York, is like, well, that's his fault. You know, he did that shit. And I'm like, oh, my God, my uncle's like, what could have I done? You know, if we lose a kid to alcohol or drugs, we grieve, Dr. Tommy asked us, we grieve our past because we always wondered what we could have done differently. And so he went and tried to save everybody who has an addiction problem in Metairie. And but my cousin did that. And all I could think of was the first thing, how bad I felt was he drunk? Of course he is. And I was like, oh, shit. It came out of nowhere. I didn't expect him to do that.
Yeah.
But I guess I felt like a real jerk. What a terrible thing to say, because who knew?
Mm-hmm.
Who knew? And I only wanted to share that because in the family system, if I have somebody who's committed suicide, there's chances somebody else definitely going to think about it. Mm-hmm. Just like mood disorders, alcoholism, all of these things kind of go in the family system.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about, there's no way anybody could have helped him. And that was it, man. He was really pissed off.
I mean, I think that like with addiction, you know, I know you said you're not like a big book thumper.
I can thump some big book.
Okay.
I can thump some big book. I'm just not traditional.
Okay.
And by traditional, I mean, I'm going to talk about the steps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use Souldrama. And I'm going to talk about other spiritual step 11 on what conscious contact is for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go places and people go, oh, you lost me. I said, yeah, I know. Just stick to the basics.
Yeah. Well, you know, we need help in a way where like no human aid can help us.
Agreed.
And like that's what we believe. And so I think that when people get in these positions, because I mean, I firmly believe that we are in like this spiritual warfare. And there are forces that we can't see that can take us out, you know? And I think that sometimes we need to reach out beyond human aid, and for like a supernatural power to be able to come in because no other human can help. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. How come you think I wouldn't be on that same page?
I don't know. I was just curious. I think that when, maybe a misconception maybe about therapists and people who are very passionate about different modalities of therapy and stuff like that maybe the misconception is almost like doctors like to prescribe things to fix things, like therapists and counselors like to have a modality to fix things.
I go to 12-step meetings. I have sponsees. And so, I mean, I work the 12 steps, but I'm also going to, I want more. I want more. Now, the reason I'm saying that is there were times where I would go to meetings. There's a meeting before the meetings, a meeting after the meeting. We're talking big book. And then it's Saturday. And I said, what else am I doing? Are you living life? I want to go live life. I'm not going to sit in a meeting all damn day long. I'm going to go live. I'm going to go practice these principles in all my affairs, not regurgitate the big book like some big book thumpers can do. How about go live life, raise a child, go do something? And I hear a lot of people, I said, you just quoted me so many pages of the book. How did you do that in your life? And they'll minimize because they don't want to disclose some things. I'm tired. I will vomit my entire life only because I think it's necessary. And when I demonstrate vulnerability, that will help the next guy want to be able to open up because they haven't opened up because no one's ever listened to them. And I'm here to say you can be heard. Your voice matters. And I'm here to listen to you. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Well, God is in all of this. And so I say to step 11, a conscious contact. Prayer and a conscious contact. The more God that's in my life, the more God that's I'm connecting with you with. Because again, God is everything. The supernatural, the paranormal, to me, it's all the same. And I advocate it, promote it, and I seek to live it, but I'm totally codependent soul to the physical nature of life that, yeah, I'll what do you call it, regress?
Some of our listeners will never have the luxury, the opportunity of sitting in an office of a person like yours. They might not have access to great health care. They might not get to go to see the great therapist like you or somebody else. So if you would take 4 or 5 minutes to take us out, and how could you help them, our listener right now, maybe take some time to go on a journey or do some work to see, like, to touch that, to find that God inside them and around them? Is there a meditative practice that you could share with them quickly, or maybe just some quick breathing or just some experience, strength, and hope on how someone who doesn't have this opportunity to come work with you for a long amount of time can maybe get a little nugget, drop a little nugget for them?
So with prayer meditation, some of the things that have been difficult for me is because I can't sit still, but I'm going to ask somebody to help me. And I was yoga, which I found to be phenomenal, only through what I call breath work. Breath work is what allowed me to be able to settle down. I did something called activation breath work, which it's a non-pharmaceutical psychedelic experience. So all you shroom people out there, and I know somebody else did it in here. The thing is, that allowed breath work, and there's so many people that it's available. You go to your local yoga studio to be able to ask them if they do any particular exercises. It's really affordable. It's not incredibly expensive. And you can start the journey of learning how to get centered, learning how to get grounded. And it's something we have to practice every day. So prayer, meditation in the morning. So these breathing exercises that I can do every day in the morning, and what I tend to focus on, what do I focus on each and every morning before and then after? And I have to set my intentions, and my intentions equates prayer. It's the same thing. So what's my prayer? What's my intention of what I'm seeking? Am I seeking help? Am I seeking gratitude? All of these. And I seek to be grounded. So I implore, exploring yoga studios to learn about some of the meditation practices that they have, or different websites. I mean, gosh, today you Google anything with that. There's so many guided meditations out there. There's thousands upon thousands. Start practicing, connecting with somebody, and then we practice together, because together we stand, divided we fall. And just like Alcoholics Anonymous, any group is where the strength is, and isolated and withdrawn is not. So I want to engage somebody, ask for the direction. I use up the yoga thing because I did years and years of talk therapy, and I still stayed up in my head. I keep asking you how come, if y'all noticed earlier, instead of why. Every time I ask why, I go up here in my head and the analytical machine goes to town. All the analytical popcorn stuff goes off. If I say how come, I can bring it down to my heart. How come? So I want to be a compassionate witness to myself. So when I do something, rather than react and become responsive, I want to breathe. I want to practice certain breathing. And I want to ask myself to sit in, how come I'm reacting the way I'm reacting? And basically that's a fourth step.
Inventory. And
I want to do, 10th step. I want to do a basic inventory, but sit with me to be the compassionate witness that I can look at me and help myself with this if I'm practicing this. And then when I get to connect with somebody, we can talk about it together. And you too? Oh man, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't feel alone anymore.
Yeah.
So the breathing, and anyone can Google it. I mean, they have the box breathing, 4-4-4, and you breathe in 4 real fast, breathe in 4 real fast. You hold it for 7 seconds, hold it for 7, and then you let out for 8 with your lips. You do this a few times, you'll be amazed if you're hyped, amped, or whatever verbiage you use. Oh, hey, all right. Okay, I'm starting to settle down a little bit. But going within so that I can see how come. And I say that because I go from the mind of the why down into the heart. And that's a good start to redirect myself when I get overstimulated, right? But, today, Google, so many people, Sadhguru is a great guy, the old Ram Dass stuff, all these guys have such wonderful philosophical directions. I mean, there's amazing directions for it. And then if you're around a community, hey, listen to what you hear somebody else say. And if it resonates with you, go let them know, hey, that resonated with me. Can we talk a little bit? And then maybe something will morph into something else.
I had my first sound bath the other day at Center
Rachel was
Space.
talking about that.
It was badass.
Yeah?
It was kind of yoga nidra, like lay down, just kind of meditate and chill in a safe space, but it wasn't Zen meditation, don't bend your fucking back or you're going to lose, but just get chill. And then guys walking around with rain sticks and bowls, man, for about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. And I was a little too jacked up to really get too into it. I probably should have done some breath work before. I was kind of looking, but it was good. It was really, really good. I'd like to go into it with I'll do some breath work or some exercise before I go in next time. Cause I've been working pretty hard that day and I was not able to really get the full, but it was good enough for me to want to do it again, but it was pretty cool. It's pretty damn cool. First time I ever did that.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
The breath work I love. The sound baths, the first one I did.
Yeah.
Talked about the dark space. I mean, I think for 4 months, I couldn't even listen to music. That's all I did was listen to that on the stereo. Look, I went weird places until I went to Sedona, and then suddenly I could crank up tunes that I used to in 70s rock and stuff that I grew up with in the 80s. And I was like, yeah, you did a sound bath. Good for you, my man.
Yeah.
He's
Good for
always
you.
doing something.
It was some cool stuff.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people in there that are, on the journey, that are trying to figure it out, and get to see them and their reactions, and then sharing afterwards about what it made them think about or feel or not think about or feel. It was cool. It was really cool.
Well, if you look into the frequencies, hertz, there's a wealth of information that's now more available than in the past to demonstrate different, not to get too woo-woo on you guys, but the different chakras and how we're placing energies in different parts of our body. That particular frequency with the sound baths, how calming that is. So I opened some of my groups up with it. So if they explained it, when you do the bowl, if you put water in the bowl, how would the water react? It would vibrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our bodies are made up of how much water?
98%.
98? Damn, that's high. I was around 80, but okay. You big bag of water.
I don't know. It is a lot of water.
But it's a lot of water. So
Yeah.
think about the sound frequencies. It does affect us.
Yeah.
These frequencies have huge impact on us. And we allow ourselves to sit still and let that permeate ourselves. It does have a sensation.
Yeah.
So, unless you're really guarded, and that's cool too. We created those defense mechanisms years ago. It takes time to crack the shell and let the walls fall.
Yeah.
So, man, I would love to get. Where are we? This is Madison, Mississippi. Man, if anybody ever wanted activation breath work, I would love to be able to talk about that.
Oh yeah, I'll
here.
set you up. I can get you a crowd.
And
I'll get you a crowd.
well, I only do like 8 at a time.
Yeah.
And it's trippy.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see more people open to it because it's I don't know how much time we have left, but when I did it in San Diego, when I did it in Sedona, I mean, I was like, these people look like a bunch of freaks. I don't know what y'all are doing, but I was in such a bad place. I don't care. I'll do whatever. And I did it, and I saw things. I mean, I had visual sensations. I was able to actually meditate after that, like 20 minutes at a time without having the popcorn machine go. Sat in the MRI machine and was able to experience being in an open field and had none of the sensations of claustrophobic within it and sitting there for half an hour. But the work that I've done with people, to hear them share their stories. A mother told me that her daughter died 3 years ago, and I studied under a guy named Ocean Eagle, and what we learned, I mean, she told me, she was like, Greg, I just saw my daughter. She was there. She died 3 years ago, and she's just here telling me, Mom, I'm okay. Mom, I'm okay. I worked with a guy that was 6'5", 300 some pounds, former infantry. After an hour of the breath work, I mean, he was on the mat in the fetal position crying. And I mean, there's physical contact in different parts of the breath work, but what he experienced was his dad. And we talked about, but the first time he said, I don't know what the hell just happened. He goes, I can't articulate it, but I needed thank you. And other experiences just ongoing, because, and I stick to my Luke 17:21, behold, the kingdom of God is within. And so these exercises, I go, look, we're face eye coverings. I want you to go within yourself so that you're not looking around and comparing yourself to everybody else. Comparison is the thief of joy. So go within yourself, connect within yourself. You're going to experience something. And I know my sensation has been spiritual, and God exists within me just as well as you.
Brother.
And so my God in you recognizes the God in me, and I say to you, namaste.
Namaste, brother. Yeah. Man, and I got free therapy. This is a great one,
See,
dude.
y'all didn't even script this thing, man. I don't know what we were.
Amazing. This is amazing. Brynn, are you down with some breath work? You gonna come?
Maybe.
Okay. Maybe we'll do a sound bath first to kind of win
Baby
you
steps.
over.
Yeah. I'm one of those guarded ones you were talking about. We'll get there.
I get it. Look, it's terrifying because people make noises while they do this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, and the reason you do that is when you inhale, when you exhale, you have to make a noise to hit what's called the vagus nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. This creates creativity and emotion. This is when we're able to let go of the trauma that's hold us. And by trauma, if I have time, trauma, nobody has trauma is worse than others or less than. Each person's trauma is their trauma, and it dictates the decision-making process every day. So to acknowledge your own trauma, whatever that is, and and to be able to get in touch with it so you can, you know, you can be the compassionate witness to your inner child, to love it just like you do your 3 and 1 year old, and say, oh, hey, Brynn, I got you now. And man, that's such a powerful moment. At that moment, I'm empowered. And like I said, it just continues to morph. So yeah. If I can, I don't know, what's the word am I looking? I feel like I'm selling something, but it's like, it's not. We're
buying it, man. We're already signing the line. We want more. We're ready for you to come back. You ain't gone yet. Yeah, we're good.
To me, the more we connect, and I always talk about when I do AA presentations, I'm like, look, the 12th step, it's all about relationships. It's all about relationships. And before I got into AA, I didn't know how to have a relationship. AA taught me how to have a relationship. AA taught me how to be more empathic when I thought I was. You don't care about nobody. I was like, yeah, I do. And it's like, wow. So I got to learn and engage, and it just built up more awareness inside. And it gave me licensure to go seek more spirituality. And so it really just catapulted me into the, what dimension?
4th.
Is that what it says in the big book?
Yeah.
There you go. It catapulted me in the 4th dimension. And then we keep going further. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So that's part of my story.
Man,
I like it.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing with us. I guess,
thank you for having me, guys. I had no idea what we were doing today. So I was like, well, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Where can people find you? Where can they reach you?
Well, with Red Hill, it's 318-402-0000. Was that enough zeros? Well, when you look at the fees to go there. And, but there's Red Hill, but then with me, it's Voices of Recovery, voicesofrecovery.org. And you can find that out. That's my website, voicesofrecovery.org. And then my phone is 318-366-2553.
Nice.
And it's HIPAA compliant, so they can leave messages, email me too, all that stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, and I encourage you listeners to check out his website because there is a lot to his story that we didn't even get to today. This guy was is still a stand-up comic in LA. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff about you. So I encourage you guys to look at the website, and hopefully we can get you back and get into more. We appreciate you.
Oh, I'd love to come back. Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good week.
Sorry, guys. Went over.